Good day, everyone. Hello po, Doc Marmelo Abante and our dear classmates. My name is Mary Jane Delara, and I'm going to discuss the topic about leadership and dealing with change. From our previous discussion, I have said that one main characteristics of a good leader is the flexibility and ability to adapt to change. So leaders may be found and needed in almost every facet of life. They are required in all aspects of our society, from business to politics to region to community-based organizations. Self-assurance, good communication, and managerial abilities, creative and critical thinking, the perseverance in the face of failure, the readiness to take chances, calmness, responsiveness in time of crisis, and openness to change are all qualities and traits of an effective leader. Leadership, both as a research area and as a practical skill, encompasses the ability of an individual's group or organization to lead, influence, or guide other individuals, the teams, or the entire organization. And we have here Whitley describe leadership in systematic thinking using a musical metaphor. As leaders, we play a crucial role in selecting the melody, setting the tempo, establishing the key, and inviting the players. But that is all we can do. The music comes from something we cannot direct, from a unified whole created among the players, a relational holism that transcends separateness. In the end, when it works, we sit back, amazed and grateful. So leadership is about coping with change. The reality of change. Change is a word that either sends shivers down your spine or leaves you hiding in the closet. For such a small word, it holds a great deal of power, mainly because it involves dealing with the unknown. When change occurs, you are moving outside of your comfort zone, and sometimes even having to rewrite the rule book as you go. Change is one of the inevitable aspects of business and life in general. Some people find it difficult to deal with change, and their attitude towards limits their growth. Others embrace change and deal with it in a positive ways. So, magkakaiba tayo. Leaders have to deal with change personally and also help their people stay positive. And here are three simple yet powerful ways leaders deal with change effectively. Number one, be flexible. So don't get set in your ways. Know ahead of time that things are going to change. And when they do, embrace and move forward. If you're rigid and inflexible, changes will still come and they will be painful. Another one, be accountable. When situations change, take charge, take responsibility for what is happening, and work to help others deal with the changes. Lead out in facing the moment and dealing with it head on. Others will follow and they will appreciate you for all your efforts. Another one, look to the future. Your attitude towards change will determine how it influences you. If you worry and fret about what is happening, it will have a negative effect or impact. If you look for the positive in the situation and move forward with confidence, everything that changes in your life will have a positive outcome and your attitude will help others. Okay? Leaders' role in change management. So change must be managed by leaders or will it be managed by them? Changes are accomplished efficiently and sustainably when leaders take on the job of change management and the expectations of their employees, the partners, the stakeholders, clients are met. The effective organizational alter depends on leaders, managers, and bosses who have coordinate specialists with individuals going through the change to back and execute alter in their span of impact. Successful pioneers recognize that their back is significant to victory and commit to doing their portion. The taking after a few of the parts of pioneers may play as they drive alter in organization. Number one, the sponsor. Leaders act as advocates for the change at their level in the organization. They are representatives who keep the change in front of their peer. So as a sponsor, the leader is the champion. For the role model, leaders of change must be willing to go first. They demonstrate the behaviors and attitudes that are expected of everyone else. They are self-aware and deliberate. So make decisions. As managers, leaders usually control resources such as people, the budget, and equipment, and thus have the authority to make decisions that affect the initiative. During change, leaders must leverage their decision-making authority and choose the options that will support the initiative. How about communicate? Leaders are the face and the voice of change. They communicate often to share information, keep people updated, and offer encouragement. Leaders interpret the change message to be relevant for their reports while still matching the overall message. Engage. Leaders provide the motivation to change and get people involved. They create the sense of urgency and importance about the change and show commitment and passion about getting things done. Number six, hold accountable. With their authority, leaders hold people in the organization accountable for the change. They don't let people get away with not changing, and work to understand the underlying reasons so they can remove obstacle. Leaders are exacting and fair. The organizational change. It is the development of an organization from one state of issues to another. A change within the environment frequently requires alter inside the organization working inside that environment. Change is nearly any angles of company's operation that can be met with the resistance, and diverse societies can have distinctive responses to both the change and implies to advance the change. That organizational change can take many forms. It may involve a change in the company structure, strategies, the policies, procedures, technology, or culture. It can be radical and swiftly alter the way an organization operates, or it may be incremental and slow. In any case, regardless of the type, change involves letting go of the old ways in which work is done and adjusting to new ways. Managing a successful organizational change can increase morale among workers and drive positive teamwork and job enrichment. These factors can directly and positively affect the productivity and the quality of work while shortening production cycles and reducing costs. The organizational change is a business necessity. Employees leave and new employees are hired. New teams and departments are created as the company grows, and businesses adopt new technology to stay ahead of the curve. With effective organizational change, organizational change management, you can keep the business running smoothly during the transition. Example, offering training options help employees learn new technology faster. In that way, they fully adopt the technology and the organizational change isn't bogged down by support tickets and frustrated users. Another one, we have here the change management and change leadership. So we have here the comparison chart. For the change management, it is a collective term for all the methods, the processes, and tools in which a company describes and implements change. For change leadership, it is a proactive approach to change management that goes beyond the standard changes to work practices and the environment. For the change management, it is a strategic approach to handling the complexities of the change. And the primary focus of change managers is to manage work and tasks associated with change. The goal of the change leadership is to understand the fundamental of change from a human point of view. The change leaders in change leadership are all about leading, inspiring, and coaching people. So the difference here for characteristic traits in change management: authoritative, dictatorial, consultative, and democratic. While change leadership, Characteristic traits are consultative, influential, transformational, and participative. While these terms are not interchangeable, the distinction between the two is actually quite significant. The change leadership concerns the driving forces, visions, and processes that fuel large-scale transformation. The change management is the term most everyone uses and refers to a basic tools or structures intended to keep any change effort under control. Both have the same goal, which is to minimize the distractions and impacts of the change. So, in a nutshell, an ideal change leaders would be a hybrid of both the change manager and the change leader. The change creates different responses from different people for a variety of reasons. Simply implementing a change management strategy that involves restructuring the organization will not produce long lasting results. The people need to change too in order to allow the organization to successfully adapt the change. Organizations need to inspire people to desire growth and newness because every change starts with us, the people. For that, they need change and the leaders with the skills to inspire, influence, guide, and coach people towards a new vision. So here, another topic is the facilitating change. The change management skills are critical for you as a manager and a leader. Whether the change is implementation of new policies, major structural shifts in management, downsizing, or even fear of unknown caused by outside forces, both planned and unplanned, you must gain your employees' support to see the changes through successfully. Okay, we have here some steps in facilitating change. Number one, give the team a reason to do something different. And um, for number one, this generally happens when an urgent change, such as a loss of market share, a financially bad quarter, or worse, if your company's latest big product tanks, because time is of the essence, use it as a positive and let your employees try to do things differently to achieve better better results. Another one, seek out the unofficial power brokers on your team. These are people who have a natural power or presence about them, regardless of the job title. Because of this, they exert tremendous influence over the rest of the team. Spend extra time with these people, making sure they know what the changes are and why they are needed. Help team members see the opportunities. People will usually respond positively to an articulate vision or a challenge if they see the possibilities of what could be. But they won't recognize them unless you show them first. Obviously, before you can do this with them, you must believe in the possibilities yourself. Number four, empower your team. Provide as much information, responsibility, and authority as you can whenever you can. And show your employees that you have faith in their capacity to digest it. If possible, allow them to continue to function as a team for as long as possible and alleviate some stress. Number five, keep thinking or rewarding your people along the way. Don't wait until you have 100% buy-in from the entire team to start handing out thank yous or rewards. Don't, because it will likely never change. The change leadership requires publicly recognizing team members making an effort to embrace the change. If rewarded correctly, their positive attitude will rub off onto the others. Communications. Change management involves an extraordinary level of sustained communications. Listening. Effective change management involves an extraordinary degree of listening to employees by asking questions and being present. It is an essential case of management by walking around, and it's a process that is best done by an involved leadership group. So remember that even if you execute these 7 steps perfectly, there could still be an employees that resists for that change. They require more convincing way as to why they need to adapt that change. So here the board and the change. The board's key purpose is to ensure the company's prosperity by collectively directing the company's affairs while meeting the appropriate interest of its shareholders, and relevant stakeholders. The board is a group of persons having managerial, the supervisory, investigatory, or advisory powers. They are the governing body that typically meet at regular intervals to set corporate management and oversight policies. The board members often have a wide range of useful skills for governing the organization, such as planning, leadership, management, supervision, and problem solving. They may also have technical knowledge of the organization or the industry. Those skills can be useful during a project for a change. The board provides time and energy to help implement plans for that particular change. So I tried to scroll at the Google trying to find well-known and aspiring leaders of their time and expertise. So number one there is Nelson Mandela. He showed heroism through his selfless and dedicated acts by fighting to bring liberty and justice for his people and risking his life for the equality of all. Mandela also was the first president of South Africa who fought daily to bring liberty and justice to his people. Oh, diba? Wow. And another one, Mother Teresa. If you look at all her humanitarian efforts, her motivations are clear as day. She set up soup kitchens, a leper colony, orphanages, and a home for the dying destitute. She treated the lepers, educated the priests of the poor, and fed the homeless. She treated them like her family. What a heart. Okay. Another one, we have here Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs. So most people believe that it was his constant need for perfection that drove him to persevere through projects. But his biggest motivation was his desire to leave something behind that changed everything. He wanted to change the world and technology for the masses. And they also attributes him the commonly associated with transformational leaders such as being creative, visionary, and a very passionate one. So, to end my report, be the leader you wish you had. Thank you and be safe always.